The Njord Challenge is an autonomous boat competition hosted by NTNU in Trondheim. In this challenge, teams from across the globe compete to design the smartest self-driving vessel the world has ever seen. Now, it's no secret that I'm currently attending Humber Polytechnic's electronics program. And long story short, Humber ESV was looking for talent, I joined, and here we are, jetting off to Norway for this awesome experience. Part 1 of this video series documents the thousands of kilometers worth of travel, as well as the unpacking and all of the shenanigans that ensued during this crazy adventure. So let's get started. Step number 1, I dropped my suitcase and let it check baggage, went through airport security, and then met up with Carson, someone who is rather funny. I found a Carson.
Jesus Christ.
How's it going?
I'm okay.
Good. Where's Marcy? Our plane then arrived at the gate, and after a few hours we were called on to board.
What's her name? Is Amber, she was at like a little apartment?
Our plane was a little bit late to depart, but the wait was entirely worth it because the view from the window seat I had chosen was awesome. After a very long 7-hour flight, we finally landed at Frank.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Frankfurt, where the local time is 6:48 in the morning. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened. Baggage stored to the seatbelt sign has been turned off. Smoking is not permitted. Airplane mode may now be turned off. Upon departing the aircraft, please ensure that you have all your personal devices.
Frankfurt Airport, where we collectively decided that moving walkways were pretty cool.
These moving walkways so much fun.
Carson was also rather disappointed with the advertising.
No, it's a reason to complain about advertisements. There's always reason to complain about advertisements, and it's all advertisements. Don't quote me on that.
After a 3-hour layover, we were then called on to a shuttle bus, which took us to our second flight of the trip.
Herzlich willkommen in Oslo. Bitte bleiben Sie zu Ihrer eigenen Sicherheit noch so lange angeschnallt sitzen, bis die Anschnallzeichen über Ihnen wieder ausgeschaltet wurden. Flugkapitän Spiel und...
And after a very quick hour and 45-minute flight, we had finally landed in Oslo. There, I collected my bag. Bag has been retrieved.
Bag.
And then we met up with the rest of the team, including Brett,
This is Ian.
Ian,
Finally.
Amelia,
Cool.
and Emmy.
He's here.
We then went to get our rental car, colloquially known as the SUV. SUV stands for Stupid Upgrade Volvo. A name so chosen because this exact bullshit always happens with rental car companies. You pick the car that you want, and then out of the blue, the agent behind the counter is like, "Hold up, let me upgrade you." Bruh.
That's not what I asked for!
Anyway, we packed what we could into the limited space of the stupid Volvo, and then set off for Trondheim. After a very long 8-hour drive on a very winding road with spectacular views, we finally arrived at the Airbnb. At the Airbnb, Brett and I collectively agreed that the place we were staying was very nice.
Brett, what do we think of the Airbnb? Indeed.
It was very modern and spacious, and had all the amenities we would need for the 2 weeks we would be staying there. Carson also found the coasters to be of very high quality.
Pretty good coasters, huh?
Yeah, best coasters.
So apparently, this house has a Roomba. It's cleaning the floor.
Day 2 was the day where we discovered that cultured milk was disgusting.
Yeah, I took one
What do we got going on here, Emmy?
And I was like, that sucks to be alive.
Is this a good one or the bad one?
That's the bad one. That's the one that makes you want to question why you're alive.
It's like tangy.
It's like spoiled. It's like liquid.
Cultured milk. Don't drink it. It's awful. Making some eggs.
The first thing that we did that morning was drive down to the Habit, the event venue where we would be competing.
So, we're here at the workshop. We have a table behind us. We talked to the competition coordinators, and we're all set up and ready to go. We're just waiting for the boat, which is in customs. Then at the dock where we're going to be testing, we have outlet.
Something that this clip has failed to acknowledge, however, is that the power outlets in Norway are weird. Thankfully, however, I have brought with me a secret weapon. Personally, I think those multi-standard outlet adapters are a f***ing liability, and no one should ever sell such a dangerous product. So I built my own. It takes whatever the heck this thing is, and converts it to a standard NEMA 515 receptacle. My adapter is by no means perfect, but it's much safer than being able to plug the ground pin directly into high voltage. That could kill someone.
So collectively, as a team, we were putting together this PowerPoint slide for a presentation we're going to do on Friday. We're going to talk about some of the core components, how the system works, talk about the GUI, and talk about some of the team members' contributions. It's going to be great.
For dinner that day, Emmy and I had fish and chips.
Restaurant Capri. How's the fish, Emmy?
It's really good.
Awesome. Really good. So it's day 3, and it's raining.
Day 3 started off slow, but took off fast when we received word that our crate had been delivered to the workshop. So we got ready and headed down to start unpacking.
It's here. We're gonna open it.
Hell yeah. We have a boat now.
We opened up the massive crate with some difficulty. Then brought stuff over to the table, where we started preparing the boat for inspection and preliminary testing.
Alright, after several minutes of wiring and assembly, the head is put back together and should have all the wires in it that it needs. And it should also have RGB.
Do you want me to set it up so you can get Visual Studio Code on your thing and connect it instead of re-uploading every time?
That would be nice.
Okay.
But do you? How do I scroll? What happens to my terminal?
You can't scroll in some terminals for some reason.
God damn PowerShell!
Don't record this.
So there's the one here, error creating node. There's the same thing down here, and I assume that all of that is because of this.
192.17.47. I feel like I'm being watched.
And with that, we headed home for the day.
You are gonna try the cultured milk?
I was gonna drink the cultured milk, and then I offered it.
You're a suspect.
No, doesn't like it.
Day 4 was presentation day, which was a massive success. We headed down to NTNU's main campus, where all the teams, including ours, presented a boat along with their core hardware and task strategy. Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Bailey, this is Amelia, this is Carson, Ian, Brett, and me. We are Harbor ASV, a team from Toronto, Canada. Mechanically speaking, the Looney consists of 3 main subsystems: the hull, propeller propulsion system, and the electrical hatch. Our main design innovation is a 3D printed hull, which is chemically welded together, which allows us to change the design each year. And another design innovation that we have is that all of our electrical components are suspended in order to prevent damage to water ingress. Another thing that we have is that our power and control electronics are mounted on separate plates to minimize interference. Electrically speaking, the boat is powered by a pair of 20-volt DeWalt drill batteries and a 14.8-volt lithium battery. These systems are redundant such that if one of the batteries runs out of charge, we can use the other battery to power the 2 T200 propellers on our boat. And we also include several safety systems such as 30-amp breakers, a custom light indicator PCB, and an e-stop system. I will now pass off to Carson.
So our system,
The software system works with three main parts. So you see we have the Jetson Orin, which is our main ASV, and then we have the base station and the web client. So the main process is communicate with the system information from the base station through Cyclone DDS, and then from the Cyclone DDS we use UDP through the WebSocket to the web client. These sensors for this system use the ZX camera, and we use a phone for GPS and heading, which uses our custom application. With the software algorithm, we have ROS2 architecture alongside a YOLO 11 object detection, and we use Sign Toolbox for mapping and robot localization just for the GPS, between the local maps and the GPS maps. And then we use A-star planning. Get it? Because okay. So we use a PID controller as well.
After presentations, pizza was provided for lunch, and then we went to look around the campus. While exploring, we saw this super cool race car, a pendulum, the Troll 7, a concave mirror,
This person was nearby anchors in the back. Like that. You were more in the right person.
Carson.
You know why vocal language.
And also, bear. Hello there.
Hello.
We're way up high.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I can get vertigo.
We then headed back to the workshop, where we engaged in a little bit of tomfoolery. Hold on, let me do it again.
I mean, has them sideways sticking out here to prevent you opening.
And also got the LED indicator working. Now with the color yellow. Guys, guess what? It's yellow!
Okay, so I don't know what the hell is going on with my Python.
Do we like this yellow?
We love this yellow.
Okay. No, because I remember you were asking me that.
I actually wasn't able to get this nice of a yellow before, so this is awesome. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, what's that? Oh. YouTube has regrettably informed me that long-form content is falling out of fashion. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to leave the video here. Hit that like button if you liked it, subscribe if you're new, go watch the full uncut presentation, and I'll see you in part 2.